I get shit done, I have fun, it's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
Hey, hello and welcome. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, or good replay, wherever you're catching us. Thanks for being here. If you're here with us live today, fantastic. If you're not, because life goes on. And these are available for replay wherever you're watching us from, whether that be YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Welcome. Master of mindset and breaker of boundaries. I'm so excited today. We almost didn't get on the air in time because we were having a great conversation in the green room, as we call it. But I'm excited to share a bit of time with Michael today. I was impressed with him when I first came across him. His life story is amazing, is not accurate enough. It's interesting dude, that's for sure. So if you're here and watching us live, I said earlier, thanks for being here. If you're not, and you're watching on a replay, remember to go hashtag replay and let us know where you're coming from. And please subscribe and share this out with your community. You just never know when one idea from one of my guests has a huge impact with the ripple effect because of that. And that's what I got asked for. The other thing is I have a shameless plug, which helps me keep on the airwaves. And I'm just going to play a short video for you as soon as I can land on it. It seems to have moved. There it is right there. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. That's a complimentary gift for you for watching the show. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or if you know somebody, go to coachphil.ca, and the top right-hand screen is a button. Click on the button and you'll get access to a complimentary assessment to help you understand where you're at with your business growth. And you might find you're right on target and nothing to change, or you might find there's room for a tweak. If you would like to have a deeper dive in there, a 30-minute complimentary coaching conversation with me. And if I'm not the right guy, there's a network of us around the globe. I'm sure we'll find somebody who can help you answer your questions if you have any. If you don't, and the assessment just confirmed you're on the right path, awesome. No credit card required in either case. Thanks again for being here. I'm not waiting any longer to bring up my guest, Master of Mindset and Breaker of Boundaries. Let me just tell you a little bit about him. Michael learned that the mind governs every aspect of life, either derailing or serving your ambitions. This is true as a entrepreneur and a coach himself. He was taking 13,000 pills per year, or competing in marathons with a life-threatening condition. And Michael attributes his success to an ability to see possibilities within challenges, which is why I thought he would be a great guest with what I experienced with him earlier on. Desiring to understand human potential led him to the root cause, which is his topic today, why we called it what we did. And Michael helps executives and teams get unstuck, break through ceilings, and never sacrifice results. He's the owner of Live Bold Coaching. He's my guest, Michael Burke. I'm going to bring you up. And just before you say anything, I'm going to say the other thing that brought my interest in talking with you is because at a very young age, even before you understood English, your parents are told you wouldn't be here. And here you are. That's what intrigued me, because not only are you here, you had some challenges like none of us have, well, some of us have never experienced. There's been others who have had medical health challenges. And that was That was not the only reason, but that was one of the reasons I thought it was really important to have you on the show and share your journey. So, Michael, I'll shut up for a minute and welcome you.
Hey, Phil, thanks for having me on. Nice to be with your audience.
I'm so grateful that you had time to fit in. I know you're busy, crazy, doing what you do best, and that's helping other people get beyond where they are today with ease and flow. We're kind of both do the same sort of thing, but we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you.
What are we going to talk about?
Yeah, I don't know. Dead air is dangerous. So the title of today's episode is Master of Mindset and Breaker of Boundaries. So why don't you maybe tell them a little bit about some of the boundaries that you were told were relevant for you, but your parents and you said, BS, that's not us.
Yeah. So I was born a super healthy little baby boy. But about the 6-month mark, I developed a relentless and vicious cough. And for the next 6 months, no one could figure out what it was all about. And man, what was coming out of my lungs was ugly stuff. My mother was a veteran mom. I'm the youngest of 4. And she's like, I've never seen anything like this. And then finally, she said to the doctor, man, the stuff in his diaper is like an alien. And the doctor put it together right there. He said, send Michael to Cardinal Glennon Hospital in St. Louis tomorrow. And that next day, I was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis and given 5 to 7 years to live. There was not one single living adult, not one single living teenager. It was strictly a childhood disease. And that started a crazy, massive effort to keep me alive. And that's kind of where the story starts. My parents didn't accept that was going to be my fate. And, the regimen of 10,000 pills a year and 500 hours of therapy every year, doctor's visits every 3 months, occasional hospital stays. That was the journey. That's the beginning of the journey, Phil. Pretty limited life expectancy.
Yeah, but look at you now, here you are. And
yeah, they can tell I'm a little older than 5.
The beard gives it away.
These 2, but I'm proud of them.
Yeah.
So I earned those.
Exactly. So as master of mindset is really what we're talking about here. And your parents were, seems like catalysts in this journey of yours. Mm-hmm. And then you're living proof that mastering your mindset is really the place to start with anything, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So my parents could have just said, resign themselves to the fate of it, because there was nothing logically that they should be hopeful. The numbers weren't there. There was so little medicine. They didn't really know much about the disease at all. So there were no numbers that said, yes, be hopeful, Jack and Pat. But they just tapped into something, love, right? Love of their son and love of life itself for them. And they made sure I took every pill every day, and I fought it. I fought it all for a long time. Think about this, Phil. My lungs get filled up with nasty mucus, and every night to clear that stuff out, I would have to cough. It was the only way to get it out. And my dad would lay me across his lap and just thump on my chest, back, and sides. He'd roll me over, thump on my back, roll me over on my sides. And that repetitive thumping would make me cough and get this stuff out. He did that every night for 12 years. When we were camping on vacation, when we were driving, every night on vacation, he would stop and do that. Breathing treatments, all kinds of stuff. They never didn't do it. When Dad was traveling on business, Mom would take over. She couldn't quite hit as hard as Dad, but she got the job done. So just imagine the mindset it takes against every data set to do that, execute that with excellence for decades. And then it was my time to take over, of course, and I struggled for a good bit, but finally got my mindset right. So this has been a 54-year journey. And how it relates to the audience is, their career, their life in business is decades long. And there's a lot of things that they have to get done that aren't always fun. But we have to find the right mindset to get them done with excellence and tenacity. And again, they're not always fun stuff. Sometimes they're actually hard things. And then the challenges of business are ongoing, ever evolving. And we have to have an adaptive, flexible mind to handle that with grace and ease and poise and focus.
That's not possible, is it?
Just a little bit. Yes, it is. And we'll talk about that. But your mind needs some training to do that. And that's what we'll get into in a little bit, I think.
Yeah. So where did your parents get the knowledge to do what they did to help you have the right mindset? And you're their son, and they had the love, they had that life force energy. They created you, so they had that's stating probably the obvious. But beyond that, I mean, like you said, they could have just said, well, okay, we're going to buy into what we've been told. There's no metrics, there's no magic, there's nothing we know, there's no hope. What was about your parents that made them like, I'm going to give them, I want to call them super parents, but I don't want to call them out that way, but they kind of
were. They were very, very amazing. They struggled, right? It was scary right from the start. It was scary, and they had their doubts, and they weren't sure I would make it. But what they tapped into, particularly Dad, he just thought all things were possible. And he showed it in his career, and he believed in his 4 sons like crazy, even when we maybe didn't deserve his belief in us, 4 knuckleheads. He never lost belief in our capacity. And my mom struggled a little bit more with that, but her and Dad were a great team. Mom ran the show, right? Dad was the inspiration. Mom ran the show. He didn't mess with Mama Burke. But what he really tapped into, Phil, was his values. He was all about living life to the fullest. He was very much into adventure. Our vacations were very different. We went to a different place every year. And so he picked up on that. He loved people, and he helped me when I wanted to withdraw. He would help me be with other people. And when I wasn't sure of my abilities, he would buck me up. So much to the point when I was 18, and I'm fully aware of this thing. I've survived decades, further than I should have. There's still no adults alive. I'm on this cutting edge of this life expectancy. And he said to me, your brothers went to college. Where are you going? And I said, I'm not going to college, Dad. What's the point? I'm never going to be around long enough. I'm not going to have a career. Why would I do that? And this was shocking to him. He had never heard me say anything like that. And with all of his love and directness, he leaned into the kitchen table. He said, bullshit, Michael. You're going. You can do this. You will do this. You'll do it well. And Dad was my guy. And I believed him. I don't know why I believed him, but he was so confident, and he just wouldn't let me sink to those low expectations. He just wouldn't let me do it.
I've written 3, I'm going to say key words that help me think about your experience from my point of view. So what your father did was 3 things. He made a committed decision on your behalf, but he'd already committed for himself to help you get there. That was one thing. That's right out of the teachings of Think and Grow Rich and Napoleon Hill's work, where he's interviewed the 500 people. And one of the things they found out was you make a committed decision. There's no one foot on the boat and one on the beach. You're either in the boat or on the beach. Your dad was on the beach, and you're going to go to college, right? That's definite a purpose. He had a victor mindset, not a victim mindset. And he brought up the Pygmalion theory. Is he saw you at your future best. He got you to believe it.
He did.
Right? That's what I got out of today so far. So we can stop here. I've got 3 nuggets, but we're not going to, because now that's your life thing. And I'm looking at the time. The time goes so fast.
Yeah.
And I want to have people understand. Okay, you're a living legend and testimonial that 7 years from birth you weren't supposed to be here. You said you're what, 54?
54.
Yeah. So that, I don't know what the math is, but it's more than 7.
Long time.
Right. And so how does that tie into what you're doing today, and how you're helping? Like your company name again is Live Bold Coaching. Obviously you live bold. It's been ingrained in you by your parents, and now here you are doing the same thing for other people.
Yeah. Well, the reason that I do what I do is I saw, after 15 years of struggling with my mind, I finally recognized how I was holding myself back. I heard my thoughts for the first time ever. And they were very limiting thoughts. You're going to die young. You're going to suffer. Who's going to want to be with you? How are you going to provide value in the world with this thing hanging over your head? And every one of those was a bald-faced lie from my brain. I was 31 at the time. I was 31 years old. I was the youngest director of sales for Omni Hotels, providing great value, earning my own way through life. I didn't suffer unless I didn't take the medicine. I was pretty healthy. And, with this face and this crazy body, I did okay with the ladies. None of those lies were true. And I finally saw it. I heard those lies with my brain. And that was the moment I said to myself, I'm never going to let the negativity of my brain impact my future again. I just didn't want, I knew it was destructive. I knew it was self-limiting. And I didn't know anything. I had never read a psychology book. I didn't know anything. I just knew it. And that was the day I put in my mind that I was going to run a marathon, 26 miles, with a body that doesn't breathe very well, doesn't digest food without 13,000 pills a year, and a body that dehydrates rapidly, all related to cystic fibrosis. It was also the day I thought, I'm going to shift the way I think about life in general. So that's, I saw over the years then how that shift radically changed my life. Just a shift in my thinking, in my system about me and about life, radically changed the course of my life. So that's what I wanted to do for a living, help people overcome those self-imposed limitations, to see hidden opportunities and challenges. And that's how I made my name in my career in the hotel business. It's how I've done it now. Lean into those challenges. Lean into them.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally. That's why I think we're in the same, well, that's how we connect. We have a common thread that brought us together specifically. But I'm excited about shifting our thinking is a challenge for most people. But I have to say, I've been on the journey for, I don't have any physical ailments as what you're talking about. If we compare apples to apples, because we're humans, we're kind of both apples of sorts. My challenges were my challenges, and they're relevant to me, but I didn't have your challenges. And as I think about I have no desire to run a marathon, and I don't have lung challenges like you have. So that's amazing. We're all uniquely ourselves. I have something that I picked up along my journey, and I'd like to say I crafted this, but I did not. This word wonderful with the U represents you and me, but us, we're unique and we're ourselves. So we're both, all of us are truly wonderful with all of our flaws, all of our bad decisions, all of the things we screw up on. But that if we don't define ourselves by those mistakes, then we're better off. Many people anchor, I find, that, oh my God, I'm the scum of the earth because I did something terrible, right? But even the worst thing, I think we can go beyond that and create a new you, a new me, because of that.
Mhm.
What do you think?
Well, I say go beyond the default. So the default function of our brain is survival. I think everybody knows that. And so that though gives us tunnel vision onto what's wrong with me, what's wrong with others, what's wrong in situations. Our brain has tunnel vision. And my story would illustrate that. I could only see what was wrong in life.
Right.
And when I broadened that perspective, how really actually amazing my life was, and how amazing the presence of cystic fibrosis was in my life, the sheer amount of love I've received in strength from my brothers, my friends, my family, strangers donating. When I was a fixer in the hotel business, so they sent me into troubled places, but I saw the opportunity on the other side. And that's how I was promoted rapidly as a young man. So I saw not only the bigger picture, but I saw through the challenge. And that's what then allowed me to, again, run marathons, many, 9 fulls, 20 halves, an Ironman, with
Wow.
serious problems with my body. But I was so engaged on the other side of that, I had to figure out complicated stuff, Phil. Complicated dietary stuff, lung stuff, dehydration stuff. And there was no one who knew what to do, because no one had lived to the age of 31, and no one who wanted to run a marathon with this thing. So I did my collaboration with my docs, but they didn't know. So I had to figure it out myself. Complicated stuff.
Yeah. You were a living science experiment.
And an experiment, I will say this to anybody who will listen. Whatever you're facing, whether it's something big, crazy like cystic fibrosis, or just daily business challenges, you have what it takes to solve those problems already. It's already in there. Creativity, creative problem solving, curiosity, focus, it's all in there. We just have to remove what blocks that stuff.
Yeah, and if we go back to the where you started off, we all have this thing that we tend to default to the negative. It's a protective mechanism, correct?
Yep.
Through our amygdala, it wants to protect us from the saber-toothed tiger. That's the way I've heard it described many times. And really, how many saber-toothed tigers are there in proximity to where we live? Not many. Right. If any, right? So the stories we tell ourselves is what you were saying about. You said the lies, the stories, whatever, but they are stories. And whether we give sanction to them or not, that's the thing. It's not what happens to us, but how we respond to what happens, what makes the difference is what I've picked up from listening to you and my decades of trying to understand this thing and how it works for us to our favor. And that's what I picked up just in the little bit of time I got to spend with you and your cohort, buddy, when you did a presentation, and it was very insightful. And sharing your story, I thought, man, we need to get this on the air so people realize that. Oh man, I think my life is tough, because what we're living in is our stuff, and it is tough. But does it have to stay tough? No, I don't think so. There are ways around it. There's a number of ways, and one of the ways we practice and things we talk about is this world of positive intelligence. And in that world, there are some tools and resources to help you live the life you want. So what I got out of it to help me refine, because I've been on this journey and I have other things that I apply. But what I like about the PQ world is it validates and confirms what I already believed, and it refines some of the things that I was doing, but maybe could do better, change the way I think. And I came out of it with a refinement as to what's important to me. And I borrowed some verbiage from another mentor of mine, and the creativeness that came from the process of experiencing PQ. And that is, my goal is to stop under living and grow into my potential, whatever that looks like. And I'm never going to arrive. Isn't that exciting? I think it is, because as I get to another level, I can see more potential, or I'm going to have those inner critic voices saying, yeah, you can't do that. Now you're too old. Well, I'm older, but am I too old? I don't think so. Can I do everything? I don't know. I haven't tried it. So
There's my running days are over, but I'm a avid cyclist, endurance cyclist, and I'm reading a book by the world record holder for circumnavigating the globe on a bicycle. He's crazy. So he rode 18,000 miles in 78 days.
wow.
Do that math. And he has a great quote, something that really sticks with me. And we might not get it word for word, but it's, you will only do as good as you set out to do. So Mark Beaumont had a dream to ride 18,000 miles, which is essentially circumnavigating the globe, in 78 days. It was wildly big, and he did it. Every human advancement came from someone who thought, there's got to be a way through this. There's got to be a positive on the other side of it. So their brain kicked in, that creativity, that curiosity kicked in, and they had a little purpose alignment for what they were striving toward.
Mm-hmm.
And that all engages the best parts of our brain. And this is how just a knucklehead, like myself, with no special education, no special resources other than maybe some loving parents, figured out some of the most complicated things that I can imagine myself facing. And I did, just because I was in the right part of my brain, where creativity and curiosity and focus and all that good stuff lives.
And when you say the right part of your brain, well, it reminds me, and you can add on to this, but what I'm thinking of is that the conscious mind does, I don't recall what the numbers are, but let's say it does 1 million bits of data a day. It processes. The subconscious mind is like almost billions of data a day, because it's controlling our everything, right? And we don't think about it. Do you know what the exact numbers are? You don't have to, but maybe you can remember what they are. But it's massive, right?
Yeah, the amount of thoughts we have and data we process is mind-boggling.
One example to help people understand the magnitude of the difference between the conscious and the subconscious, there's a book, and I forget the author, but the book is called, and not the child's version, it's another author's book, and it's called The Ant and the Elephant. The ant is the conscious mind, and the elephant is the subconscious mind. So look at the ant on the size of a full-grown elephant. That's the magnitude difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And if we can just harness the elephant mind that we have, life is easier, which puts you in a state of ease and flow, which is what we've kind of alluded to earlier.
Yeah.
An elephant can carry more than an ant, although the ant's work ethic is phenomenal, right? They're persistent, but yeah. Do we want to talk a little bit about that? Or maybe I should just bring up your, because one of the things I hate about the show is that we get into these great conversations and time just goes by. It's like it evaporated on a hot day. Let me bring up your LinkedIn site right here. I'll leave us on the airwaves down at the bottom, but it's really hard to see. So I'm going to go add the banner so people can find you if they want to learn more about who you are. This is your LinkedIn site. There he is right here, this handsome dude. And there's his logo up there. And if you want to message him, you got to be connected to him. So follow or connect to Michael right there. If you're so inclined, I encourage you to. I mean, he's a gem. Look at him. He's on the screen right now. Is there anything you wanted to tell us about anything on your LinkedIn site?
Not really. They can check it out there. What I want everyone to know, and I said it earlier, I don't care what you're facing. You are completely and utterly capable of moving through that, navigating that with grace and ease and poise. clear-headed thinking, and most of all, bold action. That Latin behind me stands for fortune favors the bold. And life's challenges have a funny way of making us shrink and withdraw from challenges. But the most rewarding part of life is to move right through them with everything you have, all of the traits already within you. And the way to do that is to reduce the negative patterns of the brain. And that takes mental training. It's like lifting weights for your brain. And it doesn't take years. It just takes weeks of concentrated effort.
Yeah. It takes small incremental improvements on a consistent basis, much the way you survived and are thriving as an adult and not a child who is not going to live past 7. Here you are living proof that you've found a way to do it for yourself. I'm going to give a plug to my landing page. You okay with that? But they can also, I'm going to give a plug to you as well, although we didn't put it up here, but they could start here. So I have a landing page. It's a big, long one at coachphil.zoholandingpage.com saboteurs. And why would you want to go there? Well, there's a complimentary, no credit card. It's free. But you can get a self-assessment by filling in and completing the assessment around saboteurs and learn a little bit more. There's a really interesting video on the landing page and some verbiage that explains what it's all about. And if you want to learn from myself or from Michael, you can connect to either one of us, and both of us can help you out in that regard. Because we're both aligned with a company called the Positive Intelligence, and we're talking about PQ, and it's a quick and easy way to change the way you're thinking. Because if you change what you think about will change, right?
Yeah.
Let's see, we have a comment here. Who's here with us today? Oh, this is a lovely lady who I met in California last fall at a mastermind in and around the lessons of Think and Grow Rich. And I encouraged her to check out PQ, and she's done it and doing it. So she's a recent, I don't remember which cohort, but it's a recent one. I'm a big fan of it so much, Michael, that with the franchise I'm involved with, the coaching company, I've introduced, along with a few other people, positive intelligence work to us so that we can add it to the experience and the journey of ourselves as well as our clients.
Yeah. Yeah, it's become a foundation of my executive coaching practice. So there's many tools I might use. The mental fitness program is the foundational one. It's the core.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, the results come so fast.
Yes, they do. And the ease and flow. And when we're in our creative, chilled out mind, answers to problems show up. And it's not like positive intelligence invented that. Like you were alluding to earlier, where's a piece of technology? This is a phone. Where did it come from? It's always been there in that world of possibility, but it wasn't until somebody had an aha moment that inspired them to find a solution, much the same as your health track. This is easier to show than your health. I don't want to see the proof.
Yeah. So like you, I've got 100 books I've read, all in this mindset, performance, happiness field. And I have so many cool tools, but the brilliance of what Shirzad Chamine did was take all those 100 books and just bring it into the very most essential pieces of those fields of science. It's so stinking practical. You know, when families started coming to me like, "Hey, you're an old man and you're doing good," I didn't know what to tell them and support them. There was so much to tell them. So much you could coach around, and I was just looking for the most simple but effective solution. And I'm like, and so I read Positive Intelligence the year it was released, and I was talking about it, kind of using some of the tools. But when the actual program came out, I was like, oh my God, let me in.
Yeah.
And just, you know, I coach people from coast to coast Canada and the US. Just the things they say in terms of the results they're getting, both in their ease and flow, peace of mind and performance and results has been shocking. I'm still shocked. I shouldn't be. I get so many nice, effective comments, but I'm still like, sometimes I can't believe it.
I know, it's like pinch yourself moments, right?
Yeah. And I know that sounds a little crazy, but it's very experiential, and folks have to kind of see it for themselves many times.
I equate it to a story I heard about the fly, and we all have had flies in our house. Summer's coming, we'll probably have some more of those sneak in. But what's interesting is how the fly's trying to get out. It sees the pane of glass, the opportunities right there. It's about, what, that big? If that? And it's buzzing and bouncing into the pane of glass, never to actually penetrate it, because it doesn't have the critical mass to break the glass. It ends up either being eradicated by a human, or it dies of exhaustion. You see it on the windowsill. So if we're living life like the fly, what a waste of time and energy when there's a easier way. Change your trajectory. Look for the ease and flow, like an open crack in a place, or open a damn door. In our human existence, it's as easy as that if you control your thoughts. Anyway, I hate to say this is over. So to wrap it up, I know. Do you have a parting comment? I'm going to just put up here cohort 16, so relatively recent, and she's saying, "Have an awesome day."
Yes, thank you.
But you get the final word.
Final word. Oh my goodness.
Or nugget.
Never give up. Quit fighting with life. You can still fight hard, but it doesn't have to be a street brawl. Life is good, even though there are challenges, and we only get one. So live it to the absolute fullest. Yeah,
I couldn't say it any better. You know what? I'm so grateful that you were able to shed some light and spend some time with me and my audience, whether they're here live and in person or they're going to catch it on the replay. I'll be talking to you shortly, so stick around. And again, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Phil. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, that made my day even better to have a guest like that. The Pygmalion theory, be a victor, be committed, don't give up, do small incremental improvements on a daily basis. You had access to an assessment we talked about. Shift our thinking, get into a state of ease and flow. Why not? Why resist life? Why not embrace it? On that note, I'm Coach Phil. I'm looking forward to having another episode. But until that happens, have a great and wonderful day. I just want to put one thing up there that will help you see what I mean. And it's disappeared. There it is. Have a wonderful day, week, month, summer, winter, wherever you're at. The you in wonderful is deliberate, because that's representing you, because you're unique. So go out, act like your unique, wonderful self. Again, till next time, I'm Coach Phil.
I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one.